Am I the a-hole for not helping my fiancé out with his nibblings during a family emergency? I grew up a foster kid and I don't have the best grasp of normal family dynamics, so I'm not sure if I'm the a-hole or not. Background info. I, 27 female, did not get along with my fiancé's family. His parents have been rude to me from day one because I don't fit their ideal of what a nice girl should be, and my background is significantly different than theirs. His brothers and sister-in-law are also a bit condescending about my work and lifestyle. And after a particularly contentious holiday visit last year, I told my fiancé that I would be low contact/no contact with his immediate family thereafter. I don't mind him visiting them or keeping in touch at all, but I will not. They can always be his family, but they won't be mine. And if that was a deal breaker, so be it. He agreed that was fine. We're child-free. Plan to elope instead of having a ceremony. And as much as I move around for work, we'll likely be thousands of miles away from them for most of our lives together. His brother and sister-in-law were in a car wreck last week, and both ended up in ICU. They have 3 kids under 10, and as my fiancé's parents were at the hospital and he wanted to be there as well, he asked if I would watch his nibblings at their house for a few hours and possibly overnight depending on how things went. I told him no. I'll be happy to deliver food, drop off anything he needs, and run errands, but I won't stay at his brother's home or be in a position to interact directly with his family. Besides, the disruption to my work schedule. If it turned into an overnight deal since I have to get up very early, I doubt they want me there. And it sounds like a fight's waiting to happen once the emergency is over. We went back and forth over it, but he finally ended up staying with them himself overnight and the following day. I dropped off clothes and food that night and the next day, but he just took them without speaking. The brother and sister-in-law will be fine, fortunately. And when he got back home, he laid into me about not helping with his nibblings when the situation is so extreme. I told him I did help, just not the way he wanted exactly, and he already knew my boundaries. He said it would have taken the pressure off of him and also been a good olive branch. I told him his family already burned the olive tree, and they don't get to look down on me and still be able to call me in a crisis. Doing the legwork I did was supporting him, and I just really don't care about them anymore beyond him. We're not arguing anymore, but we still disagree. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I'd never take on the liability of looking after kids whose parents hate me. Imagine if one of them gets hurt and they blame you. Hell no. Yeah, that's partially my thinking. I've never had a criminal record and I have a frigging security clearance. But these people still joke about me being a criminal because I was in the foster system. If something goes missing or something happens with one of the kids, or they just decide to find a reason to pick a fight, they'd come straight at me, and I don't want the additional hassle of dealing with that. Not the a-hole, and I don't understand the YTA responses at all. These kids don't even know you. They needed to be with someone to comfort them in this crisis. What you did was actually better for the kids and for you. You draw the line. These people have to have someone else they can call in emergencies, or they've burned all social capital being a-holes to others, just like they are to you. You were absolutely right to maintain your boundaries. Exactly. They wanted a virtual stranger to greet 3 young children at the bus stop and explain to them that their parents are in the ICU? Absolutely insane request, when there were 3 close family members to watch the kids instead. Said like that, it sounds exactly like a bad kidnapping plot. This, as a mom, my main desire would be that someone is taking care and comforting my kids. What I don't need is a ton of people sitting in the hospital waiting room. And I say this having had to spend several nights at a hospital alone while my husband cared for my kids at home. OP is clearly not the person to be comforting kids she barely knows. It needed to be one of the 3 available family members. Not the a-hole, and I'm genuinely surprised by all the people calling you an a-hole. Family aside, I want anyone reading this to ask themselves if they would watch the kids of people that were rude and horrible to you, emergency or not. I can say with absolute certainty that I would laugh at them for even having the audacity to ask. You could have done this favor for your fiancé, but you established very clear boundaries that he agreed to. Definitely not the a-hole, and please ignore the YTA votes. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my girlfriend a ring when I proposed? I, 31 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 27 female, for 3 years. She's a great woman, and I just know she is the one, so I recently proposed. I bought her a beautiful diamond ring that she had admired several times. But when I proposed, she took one look at the ring and asked me where the real ring is. I asked what she meant, and she said, "Your mom's ring." My mom passed away just before I met my girlfriend. She was cremated, and I had her ashes turned into a diamond and placed a diamond on my mom's wedding ring that had lost its diamond. The ring has no monetary value, but it means everything to me. Turns out that is the ring she expected me to propose with. Her rationale is, giving her the most important item to me is the ultimate show of commitment, and refusing to give it to her means I'm not fully into the marriage. She said she can't accept my proposal unless it's with that ring. I honestly can't part with it, but my friends think if she means as much to me as I say she does, and I intend to spend the rest of my life with her, then what's the big deal? The ring will still be around me anyway. Am I the a-hole? Girlfriend, it's only romantic if you propose with your dead mom's corpse. OP, run now while you can. I think this is the only thing to be said, but I will add my 2 cents anyway. This is crazy all as heck. Why would she even want this? And although I think all marriages should last forever, the reality is not good. If this busts up, OP, I can almost 100% guarantee you're not getting this ring back. Also, OP, if you're reading this, way to bury the lead. You did propose with a ring, not just that ring. Her request sounds kinda manipulative actually. I was already ready to say not the a-hole when OP stated that he went out of his way to buy her a beautiful ring he knew she liked. And she had the audacity to say it wasn't the real ring? The lack of gratitude is astounding. And I'm not even talking about her wanting to adorn herself with his dead mother on her finger. Red flags. OP, you deserve better. Keep your mother with you. To be honest, I would be totally weirded out by my fiancé wanting me to wear his dead mother on my finger. So absolutely not the a-hole. Seems like she's testing him. Give me what's the most important to you to prove I'm now the most important. And definitely seems like the type that would see mom as competition if she were alive. Indeed. It's absolutely a test, and so she can feel like she's beating a dead woman and is more important. Not the a-hole, but please understand how much of a red flag that is. You no longer have your mother. Your apparent love of your life took one look at the ring you got her and asked for a real one. Rude. A proposal is not a gifting opportunity, nor is it a competition for the nicest jewelry. It's a moment that someone is expressing their love and desire to always be a partnership together. She ruined that. She seemed to have used that moment to show that she felt deserving of something, and it wasn't marriage. It was a specific ring. She's asking for not only a family heirloom, but your physical remembrance of your mother, a woman she never had the opportunity to meet. And no, this is not some way of being close to her now. This is a very odd power trip. Reevaluate life with her and do not give the ring. Next story. Am I the a-hole for expecting my girlfriend to help me when I did something she disapproved of? I bought a second-hand motorcycle from a friend and began using it to get my motorcycle license. My girlfriend was very against it and showed me statistics of injury rates for motorcycles and how stupid it was that I was choosing to take the risk. I've always wanted to get one, and I ignored her because she is constantly nagging about it being dangerous. We got into multiple fights over it, and I was sick and tired of her complaining. Last month, I got into an accident. No car, only me, where I swerved into a metal fence and broke my collarbone and fractured my wrist. I got myself to emergency and they patched me up. I also got multiple cuts on my face that needed stitches. I don't have the best insurance, so after insurance, I have a $3,700 bill. I can't afford this, and even if I sell the motorcycle, I still have over $1,000 in the bill. I'm trying to get the bill reduced now, but it will take a while. Beyond that, I also can't cook or do basic things like put on the brace to my shoulder or lift things. I've asked my girlfriend to help me when she comes over to help me, and she's just coldly told me if she helps me, I'll just get back on my motorcycle, which I've already told her I'm trying to sell. And I've called her cold and witchy for refusing to help me with anything because she calls my injuries self-inflicted. She seems like she wouldn't help me if I got sick, because she isn't the least bit sympathetic. I got hurt, but am I the a-hole for expecting any help after she warned me it was dangerous? Now for the top comments. I had this book growing up called King Rollo and a Tree. King Rollo saw this huge tree outside his castle and wanted to climb it. Everyone told him he'd fall, that he'd tear his coat and bump his head, but King Rollo climbed the tree anyway. And he fell, and bumped his head and tore his coat just like everyone said he would. She calls my injuries self-inflicted. Bro, you crashed your motorcycle into a stationary object. Who do you think inflicted your injuries? She seems like she wouldn't help me if I got sick. Has she expressly warned you that your actions are likely to cause you to become sick? I don't see how this is comparable at all. You're the a-hole, King Rolo. Okay, so let me get this straight. Because I had to read your post several times to understand what help you were demanding and not getting from your girlfriend. Here's what you wrote. I still have over $1,000 in the bill. I can't cook or do basic things like put on the brace to my shoulder or lift things. I've asked my girlfriend to help me when she comes over to help me. So, your girlfriend is helping you during your recovery. She comes over to your place to cook for you and help you lift things and put on your shoulder brace. However, are calling her cold and witchy because she refuses to help with anything else, like pay your hospital bill, on top of the care she's already providing for your ungrateful butt. OP, you have some nerve demanding that your girlfriend pay any part of your hospital bill. You should be kissing her feet for cooking for you and tending to you right now, instead of dumping you flat, as you deserve. Hopefully, she is only waiting for you to recover somewhat before she does, in fact, dump you. You're the a-hole. The helping part is unclear to me. When I first read it, I thought that she's not helping him with anything because of refusing to help me with anything. But you bolding when she comes over to help me has me wondering if she is. If she's helping already, even coldly, he's the a-hole for sure. Dude, you're the a-hole. I ride. There are two types of riders. Those that have wiped and those that haven't. Yet. I ride with my safety gear on. Never without insurance on both me and the bike. I've even added Aflac type insurance just in case. You've no business riding without insurance or being safe. She was against it. You belittle her. Then you want her help? Thank you for being responsible. Some people need to start out with mopeds, graduate to scooters, then get a Honda Rebel. You know the OP went straight from not riding to a crotch rocket. The entitlement coming off him is palatable. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to get over himself when he started berating me for not picking up his brother's son from school? My husband, 37, took his nephew, 12, in after his dad, my husband's brother, was diagnosed with cancer. He told me that his nephew would be staying with us till his dad completes his chemo treatment. I agreed, although he did not consult me about it first. But I told him that he'll be his responsibility, not mine. He asked me to explain why. And I told him it's because 1, he didn't consult me before taking his nephew in, and 2, I'm not equipped nor experienced in taking care / being committed to childcare. I still have to cook and clean, obviously. He said it was fine and that he'd be taking care of him on his own. The other day, he called me in the afternoon saying he was stuck in a 2-hour meeting and asked if I could go pick his nephew up from school. I said I was having lunch with mom and discussing family issues. He insisted, but I reminded him that he said he'd be taking care of his nephew, including school pickup / drop-off. I suggested he try to get off work or call some family member to go pick him up. He tried to argue, but I hung up. I went home at 3 and surprisingly found my husband there. He was angry and started yelling at me, calling me selfish and unfeeling. I told him that his lack of management wasn't my fault. He yelled, saying that my lunch with mom could have freaking waited, but I chose to be freaking petty just to prove a point. I said that wasn't true, and told him to get over himself and stop acting like he was the victim when he put himself in this situation knowing he wouldn't commit. He yelled that he was trying to do all he can to help his brother out, but it was me who's playing victim after I refused to help out. We argued some more and I ended up going to stay with my mom for the night. He had texted me some choice words and that's when I turned my phone off. We're still arguing about it. You're the a-hole. I suggested he call some family member to go pick him up. That's exactly what he did. His wife, who should be a partner in the relationship. You're displaying zero empathy to a family suffering through the effects of cancer. Your husband may lose his brother and your nephew his dad. But you'd rather score petty points because you weren't consulted about helping family going through chemotherapy. You'd better hope you never get cancer because I'm not sure you'll have a support system. 100%. This whole post reads like her husband is her annoying roommate and not actually her husband / partner. Seems like a very individualized situation instead of a partnership. Plus, regardless, how is any of this the nephew's fault? Why take it out on him? I agree with this point, but husband wasn't behaving like a partner either. Partners talk to each other before making big life decisions, like taking in a family member. I feel like this marriage has some serious dysfunction. There are definitely bigger issues than just this incident. He should have asked her if it was okay to have their nephew stay for a while, and her pettiness is next level. For this specific instance, I agree with Yordi A. because she could have helped out her husband with her nephew. But I have to wonder why either of them married someone if they had no intention of working together in life. Edited to add, it's also odd to me how Opie refers to the kid as husband's brother's son. Like, yeah, that's technically the case, but I call my husband's brother's sons my nephews, and I do anything for them. Yordi A. Cold, heartless, petty. Also, weird that you're married yet you chose to call this child your husband's nephew. And never once do you say our nephew, even though you are his aunt by marriage. They say when there's crisis, it makes or breaks a marriage. Opie doesn't see her husband's family as hers, so I think pretty soon she will be living the single life. Plenty of time to spend with her mom. Right? Opie almost makes it a point to keep her family separate from her husband's. She was at lunch discussing family issues for her side, while there was an active, more pressing, family issue happening for her husband that she refused to help with. She decided her discussion was more important than her 12-year-old nephew who is stranded and in desperate need of support.